Ryan here with Dark Rangers Inc. And any experienced astrophotographer will tell you that the mount is not only the foundation, but the most important thing of any astrophotography rig. Now, it's not as exciting to upgrade as something like a brand new camera or a telescope, but you're not going to get the performance out of those upgrades that you need if you don't have something that has not only the carrying capacity, but also the accuracy you need to take advantage of that additional focal length. So I had an idea to come up with a good pick for the all-arounder, the forever mount that meets all the needs of an everyday astrophotographer and will last them for decades to come. Now, obviously with Losmandy joining the community of brands that I've decided to work with long-term, they're actually the perfect fit for this though. They've been in business for several decades. They use proven technology along with some of the latest advances like their Gemini 6 platform, which makes them just as easy to use as any harmonic drive that's just come out in the last several years. So it really does a nice job combining old world craftsmanship with modern technology, leading to the possibility of that perfect all-in-one situation. Now, there are obvious choices of great mounts that'll last a long time, but many of them are in the premium budget range like Astrophysics, Software Bisque with their Paramount, or 10 micron. Those are priced between 8 and the sky's the limit thousands of dollars. This mount comes in at a reasonable price, especially when you look at the 60-pound carrying capacity, which should be able to handle most of the scopes that you and I choose for the backyard. Obviously, if you're going to get a specialty telescope like a massive reflector, you know you're going to need a specialty mount. But for most of us, 60 pounds gives us plenty of room to not only run one big scope, but even 2 or 3 small to medium-sized scopes at the same time. So the big question is the Losmandy G11, the perfect all-around mount for your backyard that's going to give you the long-term durability, the carrying capacity, and the performance all at an affordable price so that you don't have to upgrade or worry about this for the next several decades to come. And that's what we're going to find out, so stay tuned. Well, it looks like we've got some more stuff that came today. I believe this is our G11 mount from Losmandy. We are kind of running out of room here in our little box garden, so we're gonna go ahead and unbox it and take a look and see what it came with. I already did get the power supply, and then I did have them send one of the really nice 19-inch dovetails because it's really cool how they cut out all of the different weight. So that actually weighs about 3.5 pounds, and a standard 19-inch dovetail weighs quite a bit more. All right, let's see what's in box number 1 here. From Hollywood General Machining, which is their kind of main company. Little known fact, they actually do make a lot of really cool stuff for Hollywood. They are on some really big movie sets that you've probably seen. So the stuff that they make for telescopes is obviously well within their capability in terms of machining and whatnot, and they're actually able to make stuff quite a bit bigger and stronger than even what they do here. And their mounts are notorious for being able to handle more than they advertise. This one should be good for about 60 pounds. Looks like this is the Gemini 2 system, of which I don't know a ton about yet, but will become hopefully an expert here in the near future. Congratulations on your new Losmandy astronomical mount. It's got some, like a little quick guide. Actually gives you links and everything, as well as a QR code, which is really cool. And then just like a full overview. Check it out. So now that we've unboxed everything, this is really an impressive tripod. I mean, this thing is got to be every bit of 35 pounds that they advertise, and it just feels like it is built like a tank, and so is all of this stuff. So it's not light, but it's solid. It's going to be durable. You can tell just by unboxing this stuff, it is going to last you a long time. Going to get it all together using this nice included sheet that they have, and then yeah, we'll go from there. All right, we're gonna go over some quick setup tips here. They do have a full instructional video on the full setup process, including how to hook it up with the drivers and everything like that. But quickly, you wanna have one of the tripod legs facing pretty close to due north. Because of the placement of these, I can't get it exactly, but it'll be pretty darn close. And you want the counterweight and the shaft hanging right over that tripod leg. You don't want it straddling the middle of two. It does come with like a 5-inch mini pier, and I elected to add a 12-inch on top of that, and with the combination of the two, it was just a little bit too large. So the pier will come with this thing. You have to take that out using these 6 large black screws. You'll need to remove those same 6 to get rid of the little pier that comes with it. And then I'm going to attach this so that the Gemini is facing due south. That way it's basically the opposite of the counterweight shaft, which should be facing north. And I'm gonna have this directly behind it. And that's gonna be the most optimal to keep it out of the way of anything. So what I'm gonna do is try to find the hole location that's closest to that. It might not be exactly perfect, but I wanna get it as close as I can. So probably right there. And then again, I'll have the counterweights going right over this tripod leg. So I'll get these 6 screws back in, and then we will mount the head itself. All right, once you put the main head on, there's 3 different screws that have 6 different locations. I actually had to change the location they came in, and they're gonna match up with 3 slotted spots here. And I'm basically going to drop that in and then rotate it so that they can't get out, and then I would go ahead and tighten these 3 down. Now, a lot of people ask about the RA extension upgrade, which this one does have, and they assume that, you know, logically it extends the RA access in some way. Really, the main purpose of it is to be able to disconnect the RA from the deck access like I have right now. And so once I snug those up, I'll kind of show you how that works. So basically, there's just 2 thumb screws that you turn here, and you just go ahead and set this on there and get it. All right, once it's on, you're just going to tighten both of these. There we go. And then we're going to use the bubble levels to kind of loosen the clutch, and we'll find our good CWD or center weight down position. And as you can see, we've got the counterweight shaft over the tripod leg, and then we have the Gemini basically at 6 o'clock right behind it. So now everything is tightened up, and so then we want to add the 1 cable for the deck and 1 for the RA. Now, it'll be pretty obvious which one goes to which, because there will be a length difference, and one will only reach the correct one in most cases. So we're gonna put the deck one in the deck, and then the RA in the RA. So it's on the right hand side. The RA is the right one in the Gemini computer. And then we just go ahead and put the counterweight in with the counterweight stop to make sure that we don't smash any toes. So first of all, I'm gonna get this loosened up, get it on there, snug it down, and then we've got this guy that is going to screw in the end and kind of act like our safety. And we can go ahead and verify level by looking at the bubble level that we have right here. There's 2 of them, 1 in each direction. We are actually pretty much dead on, and then I can go ahead and get it roughly facing north using the compass on my phone. I already know that it kind of is, and then we just loosen these 2 up and be ready to go ahead and mount the scope. This back knurled surface is for the clutch, and then a matching one, but just in silver, but basically the same size and texture, is for your declination axis. So that's kind of the basics. We'll go into it a little bit deeper when we get a scope on there and show you how to get it going. All right, well, the weather ended up doing a total 180 over the last several hours while I was putting the scope back together. We switched it over from a ZWO setup to a full Prima Luce package. They sent out everything. The only thing we have left to swap out is the camera, but it works really nicely, so I'm going to be running it on Nina tonight. I have run it on the ASI Air as well. The Losmandy version 6 software basically brings this into the same spot. Both of these super modern harmonic mounts I have to my left, both the Pegasus and ZWO. You basically just choose it in the drop-down menu in the ASI Air, hit sync. It'll sync the coordinates and the time. When it comes to Nina, you do the exact same thing that you do with almost any other mount. You download the Gemini hub and you can control and do all the settings from the Gemini hub itself. So you could do all of it outside of Nina. You can slew it around. You can change all the settings. One thing you're really going to want to do, whether you're using either platform, is definitely either use the hand controller or plug the computer in and set the limits. They were too aggressive, at least for this setup and this scope. So there were some recommended settings. It will actually tell you what it recommends that are more conservative. The one was like 114. It recommended backing it to 98. And the other one was 120 something. And I backed it to about 110. I tested it and it worked great for me. Obviously with both programs, you have to turn on the automatic meridian flip if you want it to do that, just to let it know to do it. And then I went into the software and just told it, you know, the size, scope, the aperture, all of that, just so it knew. And then it really just runs and operates like any other mount that I've used. I've worked with probably 5 or 6 different brands, and this one was just as easy to use, if not easier, than all of them. So you get the awesome combination of modern technology with the old world craftsmanship, which I really love. A lot of the ultra premium mounts you'll find that are priced, you know, double or triple what this are, you know, do have amazing craftsmanship and precision, but they are a lot more difficult to implement with some of the modern software systems, especially the ASI Air. They really require you kind of to use Nina. This allows you to basically do both without having to do a lot of modeling or a bunch of extra steps. You can do PEC and other modeling with this, but you also don't need to. I'm getting 0.4 to 0.5 guiding all night without any issues. I will have to go ahead and polar align that, so I'll show you the controls on that really quick. Since I did go ahead and obviously take it off the pier and everything, it got moved around. The altitude knob is really nice. It's this nice large knob right there. The lockout for that is this screw here. That is one that I would definitely recommend upgrading with the knob, but you just tighten that once you've got it down. And then the altitude knobs are right here on both sides. When you turn one, it also turns the other. So I have myself set up, I always put the compass behind when I'm putting it there and make sure that I'm at 0 degrees north, pointing obviously that way. And that way I have the entire travel range of probably 10 to 15 degrees or more in either direction. So I know I'll have enough horizontal travel. And the knobs are actually really nice to use. And the nice thing is it does come with 2 locking knobs on both sides for the alt and azimuth. All right, well, I wanted to go over some of the features and functionality of the mount in the event that you did want to get one yourself. And now I want to go over what it's been like to use it, the performance of it, the value, and my overall recommendation. In terms of performance, given the fact that I do have a pretty large triplet APO on there in the Stellarvue SVX 140T with the full Prima Luce setup, including 3 dovetails, one for the top and bottom, and then to extend out for the flat panel, and a full monochrome setup coming in at probably over 40 pounds. It guides between 0.4 and 0.5 every night, occasionally dipping down into the 0.3s and then sometimes creeping up briefly into the 0.6 range, but it is extremely consistent. And as you guys know, that's something that's really important to me. Consistent and dependability are king when it comes to astrophotography. I really feel like I'm getting the most out of that amazing scope and gear, and I love the fact that I don't have to worry about it every night. When it comes to its performance in the wind, it does phenomenally well, in part because of that massive tripod. And when it comes to performance in all conditions, lightweight tripods and accurate guiding go together like oil and water. It's just a fact. A heavier mount is going to do better in windy conditions. Now, who would I recommend this mount for? If you're primarily going to be using this in the backyard and you're looking for something that's accurate, dependable, and easy to use, it's going to be a great choice. Having said that, I do think it is portable, but it's not a grab and go setup by any means. One of our Dark Rangers Inc. community members, Greg, did take it along with his SVX 130 to Texas and ultimately Arkansas to chase the solar eclipse, and it worked out great for him. But I think it's for somebody that mostly is going to be keeping it in the backyard with maybe the occasional trip, and you're looking for more of a reasonably priced observatory style setup that's going to give you the best results possible out of all of your gear at a price that's easy to swallow. And I can feel pretty confident saying that because I've used this now for the last month and a half. This is a Dark Rangers Inc. community partner. I do talk with these guys on a weekly basis. They've been in business for over 30 years, and they have mounts out there that have been in service for decades and are still ticking and getting images. So while I haven't owned the mount forever, I do feel like it would be a good forever mount candidate and one that I'd recommend checking out. There are some awesome upgrades, but you can get it just as is, and they have an awesome mount configuration tool on their website, so you can go in and they have drop downs and pick out exactly what features you want and which ones you don't. I'm going to put a link to some of the ones that I recommend, and if when you do check out, you could put Dark Rangers Inc. or DRI in the comment section, that'd be great. And you can also get it at Stellarvue along with your scope, as they are another partner and a distributor of Losmandy mounts as well. So overall, if this is the type of mount you're looking for, a great all-arounder that can be used for years to come, the G11 is a definite recommend, and I hope it serves you well. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below. And until the next one, as always, clear skies.